Welcome to Morningwood Sports. I'm Corey, and as always, my red-faced awesome little buddy here, Cody. How you doing
Face.
this morning, Mr. Lushy Face?
Oh, just dandy.
Up
Just got
there in the
back from
Great
my
White
kids.
North.
Just got back from my kid's first football game, and now ready to talk some sports.
Yeah, let's go.
So
All right.
obviously, we're gonna kick it off with some college ball. Corey, we were just talking about a game that you wanted to chime in about, so why don't you chime in about that one?
Well, okay, let's just talk about the fact that it is the end of the third quarter currently, and Florida State University is winning 70 to nothing against Eastern Texas A&M. I understand that it's Eastern Texas A&M, but I mean 70 to nothing by the end of the third quarter. Like, what the hell is going on there? It's like 3-and-out touchdown, 3-and-out touchdown. I mean, that's insane.
Yeah. And just to jump in, I got the even though I'm not a Gophers fan, but the Gophers are currently winning 66 to nothing against Northwestern State. And again, I'm talking about the Gophers. I don't think I've ever seen them put up 66 points in my time watching college football.
Okay, go back to that Florida State game. Castellanos was 8 of 11 for 237 and 3 touchdowns. And since they put in 2 different quarterbacks, Case Ferry was 4 for 5 for 61 yards and two touchdowns. And then B. Glenn is 3 for 3 for 56 yards and 8 touchdowns.
How many yards does Castellano have rushing?
Castellano rushing.
Oh, not like last
7
year.
yards.
Last week,
7 yards.
7 yards. So, yep. They have 308 total yards of rushing today. Florida State does.
Dude.
And 337 passing.
Their second string quarterback and their third string quarterback both have touchdowns. Second string has 2 touchdowns. Castellanos has 3, and then they have 2 running backs with touchdowns, and then 1 running back with 2 touchdowns. I mean, it is insane. Touchdowns are raining down in Florida State right now. It is a good day to be a Seminole fan.
Yeah, that's wild. Jumping into some top 25 games here, we got Penn State versus Florida International today. I thought Penn State would be up a little.
Yeah.
I thought Penn State would be up a little bit more than what they are, but they're 20 to nothing. I mean, the game's in, I don't think they're going to lose by any means, but we see Texas having a little bounce back.
Yeah, we already got
San Jose State, but
yeah. And Archer Manny's already got 3 touchdowns. He's already got 3 touchdowns. He looks like he should against a FBS team. I get it.
Well, no, it's the thing that, it's a good confidence game is what you're going to get out of this. And I think it'll definitely help. I think it'll help Texas get their offense going, which we didn't see much against Ohio State. But again, another good defensive team in Ohio State, and both those teams had defensive stands last week. But yeah, Arch Manning, 14 to 23, 200 yards, 4 TDs already. He still has a pick though.
Yep. He's gonna have to get that shored up a little bit. Obviously, everybody. As if you've followed us, you know that I now live in Iowa, and obviously it's the biggest freaking game of the year in Iowa today. It's the Cyhawk game. So it's Iowa State Cyclones versus the freaking Iowa Hawkeyes. It is at Iowa State today. So it is in Ames.
And it's tied up.
It's tied up 13-all. 13-all has been a good game. I thought that Iowa State was going to walk away with this, especially after they played last week. And Iowa, the way they came out, they looked really, really rough. But obviously they've been putting it together and brought it back around because, I mean, Iowa State's a good team. They're number 16 for a reason, and Iowa's playing them tough right now.
And they're pretty evenly matched stats-wise going into the third quarter. I mean, rushing yards and passing yards was all very close. Iowa held time of possession by maybe a minute. But outside of that, I mean, it's a close-fought game, and I give hats off to the Hawkeyes for currently staying in this one because they have a chance to win it, to be honest with you, which would be a huge blow to Iowa State and their playoff hopes.
Right, and Gronowski, which is their starting quarterback for Iowa, is not doing very. I mean, he can't throw the ball very well. He's 12 of 21 for 77 yards and a pick. So, I mean, that's just not going to cut it. He also has 12 attempts rushing for 40 yards and a touchdown. So, obviously, they're going to use him more rushing than.
Currently, his feet are probably keeping him in that game at the moment, to be honest with you.
Yes. And Iowa
outside of
State's
that,
actually Beck. He's not doing very good right now either. He's only 13 for 20 for 91 yards and a touchdown. So I mean, we expected more out of him.
the Georgia game just started. They're playing Austin Peay today, and obviously I think Georgia will win that game, but that's 0-0 in the first quarter at the moment. Texas
playing, yeah, Indiana's playing. Who the hell are they
Kennesaw,
playing?
Kennesaw State.
Kennesaw State, and they're beating them handily right now, 42-9, and they're currently in the red zone on the 10.
Currently 17 ranked SMU. That's tied up against Baylor 24-all.
Yeah, I saw that. That's a good game going right there, and that's an interstate game, so they're going to play each other tough.
Mm-hmm. No, outside of that, I mean, that's kind of the big stuff currently going on in college. Not a lot of crazy morning games for college football for me. I just want to chime in. I just want to chime in real quick and just say that I was right. I said neither Clemson nor Texas would drop out of the top 10 when you said that they would.
Okay, yeah, they that's in the freaking AP poll. Let's talk about the coaches.
I haven't saw the coaches poll yet, to be honest with you.
Me either, but I'm just saying.
Miami jumped up to number 5 last week. LSU jumped up to number 3. I do want to say though, I think this game tonight, the 6:30 game tonight between Michigan and Oklahoma, I think that's going to be a good football game. Michigan, both of those teams played very well last week. They're both going in ranked. I think that's going to be a good football game.
The biggest dropper was Alabama.
Oh yeah, down to 21.
And even in the coaches, so Texas fell to 6 and Clemson fell to 8, so they're still in the top 10 on that.
Which and I thought they would be. Like I said, it's a week 1, and when you're putting up a number 1 versus a number 3, one of those teams was going to lose, but neither one of them was going to drop out of the top 10.
No, but okay, and Ohio State should have probably been the preseason one. Be honest.
I think the only reason I don't think that they were is because they lost some players. They lost running backs. They lost defensive players, and they're going in with a freshman quarterback. So I think that was the only knock. If that freshman quarterback continues to prove himself, that run game's always there for Ohio State. They create good running backs, and the defense is always good. I mean, we're going to see Ohio State probably stay in the top 5 unless there's some really bad hiccup with that team throughout the season. If not number 1 all year. They continue to win, they'll be number 1 all year.
Yeah, and obviously the biggest jumper was Florida State. They came up 26 spots to 14.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and much deserved, to be honest with you. Much deserved. Yes. They're playing well.
We got to do.
Our top 10's roughly the same, and we'll probably continue to see that unless we see a fall off from Clemson or Texas. But I really don't. I think both of those teams will come into their own. I think this year's playoff will be very interesting to see who we get in the playoffs this year.
So let's revisit something we did talk about last week. I called this, and I said that Miami is going to beat Notre Dame. I also said that Notre Dame always tries to set their schedule up like this. So whenever they have a big loss like this, they're probably going to have a hard time bringing it back.
It's going to be hard for them, yes, because they only have this week is their only other current ranked opponent on their schedule. They have a ranked opponent this week, I believe. Outside of that, there's not another one.
They're playing Texas A&M.
Yeah,
but that's next weekend. They're off this week. It's next weekend. The 13th is when they play Texas A&M. Yeah, no, you're good. And then they do not have another ranked team. We talked about this last week, and of other notable teams that they play, the best is like Arkansas, USC, Pitt, Stanford. So I just don't see them being able to.
It's going to be hard for them to push back into the top 10. Did they fall out of the top 10 in the?
No, they're number 9. They're 9.
If they win out, yes, they'll stay in the top 10. I'm sorry, they will.
Well, we'll see.
That's just going to be normal. Yes, they lost against a ranked opponent. If they win against Texas A&M and they win out, they're still going to be a top 10 lock.
But I hate that. That's what I was talking about with the scheduling and stuff. I hate that they do that. It is what it is.
I still think that championship for college football is going to go through the Big Ten again this year.
I hate that, but probably right.
Here's my take on it is that ever since this NIL thing started, and we're starting to see players go to other teams, the SEC isn't dominant like they were.
No.
Not saying that they're not good, but they're not dominant like they were. You're
There's a
not
vacuum.
going to continue to have those dominant teams. You look at Alabama for last 15 years. They had backups that were NFL ready players.
Yeah, well, but the Saban era is over, and because the Saban era is over, there's a vacuum that's been created in the SEC, and there's a lot of good, strong teams, but none of the teams are going to be as dominant, none of the teams are going to be as successful, and I think that what has weakened that a lot has been the NIL. I think the NIL has spread these guys
It's
out.
just spreading out all these good players
Yeah,
across other teams. So now instead of being a backup on Nick Saban's Alabama team, now you're going to be a starter somewhere and get paid.
yeah,
So why wouldn't that player go there?
that's what, and
It's
that's why
hard.
they're doing.
It's hard for those players that are good. And yeah, they were probably second string players on Alabama, but they're first stringers anywhere
Yeah,
else on any other
but then
team
you
in the league.
go to a good situation and you find a good coach at a good pro and a no name program like Tulane, and you go make a name for yourself, and then you
Yep.
transfer out.
Shit, I mean, Randy Moss went to Marshall.
Yeah, well, but Tulane, man, I love their coach. He's amazing.
Yes, I agree. And I'm honestly still curious. I talked about it a little bit last week, but I am kind of curious how Marshall's new head coach does this year with all the young players on that team. I would like to see how that team develops over the next 2-3 years. I'd be interested to see.
Well, we'll just have to see how it goes. Uh,
Yeah.
but man, I honestly, as far as like college football goes, it's pretty much been what we've expected it to be. They did spice it up a little bit this year by scheduling some actual really good games for week 1 or week
Yeah.
0 or however they want to call it, depending on how
And
we say. But
I think we'll have some very good games throughout the college season per usual. We always have some upsets that happens in college ball. We call it any given Sunday for a reason.
right,
Um, but no, I am very excited to see how this college season plays out. I think there's a lot of team. I mean, even look at Tennessee. Tennessee lost their quarterback, and the new guy is Joey Aguilar, I think is how you say his name. Man, he came in and he played in that offense like he knew it with the back of his hand, and he'd only been there for 2 weeks. I mean, there's a good chance to see Tennessee run up the coaches poll as well.
yeah, no, everybody was wondering how he was going to fare, and he's so far so good. But we'll see how he plays, and it's going to be determined what the year brings for them.
Yep.
Outside of that, you have anything else in college you want to talk about, or are we going to go into?
No, I'm good. Let's hop into what we've seen from the NFL so far this week. We've obviously had a couple games. We had Thursday night game and we had a Friday night game down in how do you say it?
Sao Paulo, Brazil. Okay, so
we did this NFL did it last year too. They had one game down there too, right?
yeah, last year they played and they had a lot of problems with the field.
Yeah, there was issues
A lot
with
of
the field.
slippage. Yeah,
I know a lot. I remember I was reading an article. Some players were like, "I'm not even going to leave my hotel room."
right.
I don't know if I'd go walk around Brazil by myself either. So, but no, outside of that, we had the Cowboys Eagles on Thursday night. What's your take from that Cowboys Eagles game?
Cowboys really surprised me actually. The Cowboys played a lot better and a lot more like a team than I thought that they were going to. I thought they were going to come out flat, and they did not. They actually produced. I thought Dak was leading that team pretty well. CeeDee Lamb had a good day. They have a lot of guys on that team that I was actually surprised by. That
Yep.
I did not expect them to be as big of a threat offensively as they are. Their defense is still suspect, but
Yes.
Philly's defense was exposed. It looked like definitely their secondary.
That's what I was just going to jump into real quick. You say that Dallas's D was a little suspect. I'm sorry, but I mean I know they lost Carter before the game even started because he's an idiot and spit on the other team's quarterback. But outside of that, then even continuing that little conversation real quick, there's all of a sudden you're like, well, Dak Prescott spit first. I mean, he spit on the ground. Like he tilted his head towards the ground and spit on the ground. And Carter got all upset thinking that he was spitting at him. And you could clearly tell that from my point of view, he was like, no, I didn't spit at you. and then
Yeah.
just spit right on his chest, right in front of the ref. Like, what the fuck do you think is going to happen? That's assault, brother.
Yeah, but you're gonna have that with hyperactive, aggressive, testosterone-filled men. Things happen like that sometimes. But it is unfortunate. He should not have done that, and rightfully so. He got kicked out of the game because that's
Mm-hmm.
disrespect. That's the right call. They should have done that. But at the end of the day, it's were they going to be able to respond from that? And obviously they won the game. But was it a little closer because his presence wasn't there? Probably.
Absolutely. I mean, Jalen Carter's a beast. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he's one of the best defensive players in the league, and he's only in year 3, I believe. Outside
But
of that,
but
the
you're gonna deal
Cowboys,
with that, dude. You're gonna deal with that aggression. We dealt with it with fucking
you're going to
Chris
deal with it,
Jones,
but but as a professional player, you got to be able to handle those emotions. It's part of being a
Daniil
professional. I'm
Hunter.
sorry.
Come on, man.
I don't,
Like,
I don't give a fuck.
not a Kong
He let
Fu.
down his entire fucking team. I'm sorry.
He
He did.
absolutely did. He absolutely did. But at the end of the day, you're gonna have that sometimes. And is it worth him being around? Like, are you gonna forgive him? Because you're gonna forgive him. He's too
Oh
fucking
yeah, of
good not
course.
to.
I mean, absolutely, he's going to get forgiven, but it's just one of those things where the rest of the defense had to step up, and that defense clearly wasn't the same without him on the field. He's a disruptor. He's a beast. Dak Prescott didn't get sacked one time,
Yeah, yeah. But
and
I
they
mean,
have one. Eagles have a very good defense, and they have some young defensive players on that team. But Jalen Carter needed to be better in that scenario, and he made a mistake. Will it go bye-bye? Probably. I assume to see at least a 1-game suspension from the NFL.
yeah, yeah. At least one or two. He'll appeal, maybe. But at the end of the day, I think that the Eagles are obviously going to be fine. I think that their defense is going to
What do you think about AJ Brown and Devontae Smith not even really being part of that game?
I think that's the future. I think Jalen Hurts has actually stepped into a bigger role. I think that Saquon has taken over the entire fucking scheme. So therefore, I think that they are basically a run option team that runs slants.
I mean, you're not wrong, but it was really surprising to see neither one of those wide receivers contribute as much.
They're
But
going to. They're going to. It's a game by game situation. They obviously thought that the secondary was stouter than the freaking defensive line for the Cowboys. So therefore, they decided to
yeah, I
attack
mean,
them on the ground.
between Jalen Hurts and Saquon, they ran the ball down their throats. But
Yeah,
outside of that, and like you were saying at the beginning, I think the Dallas Cowboys surprised me a lot. Dak
yeah,
looked good. I'm not a
yeah.
Cowboys fan, but Dak
Me
looked
neither.
good.
Not at all.
That team looked ready to play, and you're
They did.
talking about a coach that everybody was questioning when Jerry Jones hired him and Brian Schottenheimer.
Yeah,
Like, nobody thought that Schottenheimer was going to be ready to coach this team, and
I have. I've said that
that
myself.
team came out ready. And
Yeah.
I'm curious. And the only reason I'm going in this direction with this conversation is because I did read an article too about some of the players saying that Micah Parsons was not the best teammate.
Well, okay, that goes without saying. Let's just say he's a superstar, and he thinks he's always been a superstar. He always thinks that he's the best guy and the best personality, best person in the room, and because
Yep.
of that, he's going to come off as arrogant and entitled. And guys aren't going to buy into that. They want humble guys that lead from the front, that lead by example. Which he did let his play talk speak for itself, but you have to understand these guys are out there busting their ass too. They're doing everything that they can do as well. And the only reason that you're able to get through is because they're doing their assignments. So if they're able to double team you every single time, if they're able to freaking, have a running back come and cut block you or chip you as you're coming through, you are going to have a lot less success. But these other guys are taking that off of him, so he needs to be humble himself and understand that. I think that he's going to be amazing at the Packers. I think that it worked out better for both teams because I think that obviously with them having Micah outside of the organization this spring, they kept it the distraction away. And because they were able to keep the distraction away, that's why they did come out firing, because they had something to prove that, hey, you guys think we're going to come out flat. You think that we're not going to be something. And they played well.
They did. I think both teams played well. And obviously, there was an issue in this game with the storms that rolled in. And I think it was little over an hour that they had to go sit after already sitting for halftime. CeeDee Lamb, though, CeeDee Lamb, yes, he had 7 catches, 110 yards, but he had 3 big drops.
Yeah.
And I think those 3 big drops is what kept Dallas out of winning that game. But I was happy to see CeeDee Lamb be like, "That's on me. I messed up. Those were all catchable balls. I made mistakes." I think you're going to see a big game week 2 from CeeDee Lamb. I really do. But I think you're going to start seeing George Pickens more involved as well, because they tried. I think George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb are going to be a nice combo over in Dallas. And if Dallas continues to play the way they did yesterday, or on Thursday night, I'm sorry, that's a playoff caliber team, I think.
Yeah, well, they're always going to be in it some, to some extent, just because they play in a weak division that is getting better, though, mind you, but they have the talent around there. I still think they got fleeced on the trade, but they wanted peace, and because they wanted peace, they wiped their hands of the drama, the thing that was causing that was causing the issue. And I think that they both benefited. So at the end of the day, yes, they lost a key contributor on their defense, but if that lets them gel as an offense and lets them gel as a team and really buy into Schottenheimer's system, which is, looked pretty good for the first one. We'll see. We'll see how people react to him once they get some film on him. But
for week 1 against a very good team in the Eagles. So, I mean,
the Super Bowl freaking champions.
Yeah. So I'm as much as I'm not a Dallas fan, I think I'm going to follow them a little bit more this year just to see how things are going for them. I really do. I want to jump into last night's game. I'll let you take off with this one. We had the Chiefs versus the Chargers in South Ohio. What did you think of your Chiefers last night?
I feel like it was a tale of two halves for me. First half was dog shit horrible. I really was upset. I don't like that. I feel like our offensive line is still suspect. Jawan Taylor might be the most freaking false starting motherfucker on the planet. We still have issues at left tackle, and it really speaks for itself that we were over 7 on 3rd down in the first half. With all that
it also
said,
it can take a long time for an offensive line to gel when you got a lot of new players on it, which the Chiefs I think have 2 for sure, right?
yes, but still, that's the problem for me with not playing any of your starters in preseason. And that's my problem with, they're trying to make more money and they're trying to add more games to this season, and it takes away from their preparation. So this is where I think that we're going to have a little bit of these issues. I think it's going to be harder for us to dictate what's going to happen week 1 because of the fact that some teams are going to withhold their starters and some teams are not. But going back to what I was saying, I thought, and that was offensively. We couldn't really. We missed too many throws. Patrick had guys in his face all freaking game. A couple things. The first half, we could not get pressure. We didn't get any pressure on Herbert. He stood back there and he was able to pick us apart.
And considering the Chargers lost Rashawn Slater for the entire season, they're one of the best left tackles in the league, and you still couldn't get pressure.
Yeah, but their left tackle.
They moved Joe Alt over there. Joe Alt, I think, has moved over to left tackle.
Yeah, and he did amazing.
He played left tackle in college. Joe Alt was a beast. He's also a Minnesota boy.
He played very well last night on that blind side, and I'll tell you this: we played way too loose. We played way too soft. They picked us apart, man. There was guys open by 15 yards all night long. I think I could have made most throws that Herbert made in that first half. I mean, just because of how wide open they were, shit, it wouldn't matter how. Just get it in the area. They're
Yep.
wide receivers. They'll
Just get
make
in the
them.
general
Just get
vicinity.
in the general vicinity. Hell, McConkey, he caught one that was he threw a bad throw behind him, but McConkey pulled it in because he's a asshole. He's awesome.
Kid's got hands.
He's got hands, dude. He's good. He's legit. But
He
okay,
reminds me a lot of of Thielen.
he's a little slot guy like that. He kind of, I mean, yeah, a little, yeah,
Fantastic route runner and good hands, man.
little
And
Julian
that's
Edelman type, little, yeah.
yep.
Um, Also, okay, so tale of two halves. Second half, I think they did do a lot better. They definitely started playing a little tighter in the secondary, and they were bringing a little more pressure. Um, Offensively, they did a lot better. They went 5 for 5 in the second half on third downs for the first 5 drives. I mean, the first 5 third downs they faced. So that's a completely different scenario than the first half, and that's whenever we started to score. That's whenever they were able to get a pass to Travis Kelce for a touchdown. I will say this: Travis Kelce looked slow as hell. He was
Really?
so wide open whenever he caught that pass, but they still almost caught him at the goal line. He did look slow. I mean, I love him, but he looks slow as shit. Um, but Hollywood Brown. So Patrick Mahomes did some Patrick Mahomes shit. He threw a pass literally lateral to the ground. I mean, parallel to the ground. Freaking flipped it to Juju for a first down on.
I did see that. Juju, even though Juju only had like 5 catches for 50
Dude,
yards, man, he played tough yesterday.
he played fucking amazing. He played tough. I
He
appreciate the
played
effort
tough.
that the veterans given. He's leading by example. Love that guy. He has no knees and he's still churning them.
Mm-hmm.
So, he's D Rose at the Knicks. Okay, he's just he ain't got much left, but he's gonna give it to you. So and then Patrick, the second half, offensive line was still horrible, 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 horrible. They could not get out of their own freaking way. Oh, one other cool thing that happened is the last play before halftime. The running back was hit on a swing route, and he got pushed out of bounds, but he got pushed backwards out of bounds. So this clock didn't stop. And they had to do a fire drill, got freaking Harrison Butker out there and the kicking team out with like freaking hardly any seconds left, and he kicked a 59-yard field goal. So, and then he came back, we scored a touchdown, and he missed the extra point.
Yep.
So, like I said, this is a tale of two halves for me. And I haven't even talked about the greatest play of the day, which was actually one of the last plays of the offense that the Chiefs had. So I told you the defense, the Chargers were getting through all damn day. So it's 4th down. What do? It's like 4th and 7. Hikes the ball. Khalil Mack is literally he is sucking down Mahomes' breath right now. I mean, immediately. No. I'm talking about, that was cool too, but he just does stuff like that. That's just normal everyday shit. No, I'm talking about, so Patrick runs for his life, waits for the very last second, wrist flips it 40 fucking yards down the field as he gets murdered by fucking Khalil Mack, and Brown catches it, nobody around him, turns to run, and fucking falls down. Still got us in the freaking red zone. Oh, right after that, two false starts. First one, Juwan Taylor. Second one, left tackle. I mean, we could get a. So, yes. I think the Chiefs are going to be fine. We were without Rashee Rice. We were knocked. Xavier Worthy was knocked out early with a shoulder injury. So we did. If I think if we'd have had them, we'd have definitely probably won. But at the same time, we didn't. And it's a tough freaking Chargers team in a neutral environment, and it was at least an entertaining game.
The other thing with Kansas City is I know they were playing behind quite a bit yesterday, but they didn't even rack up 100 yards combined rushing yesterday. They need to get that rest of the game going much better than what they were. They can't rely on Patrick Mahomes for every fucking fantastic, amazing play. They have to run the ball.
I agree.
But when your lead back only has 25 yards rushing.
Yeah, Patrick had 45 or something. So yeah.
He had 57.
Oh, there you go.
He led the team in rushing.
Right. So yeah.
I don't know if they need to.
And like 300 yards passing.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Kansas City needs to get the run game going a little bit better. That yes, the offensive line, the false starts was a problem, but again, I think it's just going to take some time.
It does.
You're gonna see a few games that offensive line needs to gel a little bit. I'm not worried about the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are going to be fine. They're still a playoff caliber team.
You know who's amazing?
They're better on paper. They're better on paper than they were last year. But the Chargers showed out, especially Herbert, man. He had over 300 yards.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Touchdown receptions. He's got the hands of Kadarius Toney.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Yeah, he was so fucking wide open, he could have juggled it down the fucking field. I mean, really. But let's talk about the fact, the elephant in the room here. The Harbaughs are just some good ass coaches.
Harbaugh is now 6-0 in week 1.
He came out with a game plan. I'll tell you what I think happened. I mean, my true opinion on this game is I think that we worked on making sure we didn't have another Saquon Super Bowl incident by trying to, where we tried to stop the run. I think we did the same thing again. I think we were like damn determined. He runs the ball. He runs the freaking football. So what do? We made sure he wasn't going to run the football. And then what happened?
Yeah, and you held them. I mean, Omarion Hampton had 48 yards. Najee Harris only had 1 carry for 5.
Yeah.
Omarion Hampton, 15 carries, 48 yards. And I think he had a couple receptions for like 13 yards. He's a rookie. I'm really excited to see what.
And Herbert had like 30 some yards because he ran that one. Let's talk about what actually beat the game. We actually had a chance to go down and score to win the game. We would have a chance. It was 3rd and long, and we were on defense, and all we had to do was stop them. And we had all our timeouts gone, but it would have been a 2-minute warning, and we'd had all that time. Chris Jones was playing defensive end on the outside. He did a spin move and went inside, and Herbert hooked around to the outside and was able to get upfield and get the first down and slide for the first down, and that is what lost the Chiefs the game, or at least the opportunity to try to win the game. And because of that,
march down the field and get a TD. Yep.
Well, and then him and freaking Drew Tranquil got in each other's face over it, and he's like, "You got to do your freaking job." He's like, "Get out of my fucking face!" And he's like, "You got to do your freaking job." And at the end of the day, Drew Tranquil is right about that, because if Chris Jones wants to be on the outside and be on the defensive end, he has outside contain on that, and he has to know that he can't go inside. So therefore, it's his fault. And he just has to own it. Well, we love you when we love you because you make all these amazing plays, but when you screw up, you got to take your licks too.
All right. Well, bouncing out of that game, we're going to talk about just some quick games that are going to be going on tomorrow. We will be on TikTok tomorrow as well.
That's actually going to be our first one. Yeah. No, we're going to go ahead and give some freaking opinions on fantasy picks.
Yep, we'll be back live on TikTok tomorrow morning, probably around 10 o'clock is usually when we do it. But we'll talk a little bit here, but we'll talk about it a lot more on TikTok tomorrow about the games. I just want to touch base on a couple games. There's not a lot of exciting games for week 1, I'm not going to lie. I mean,
yeah, I'm looking
at Panthers versus Jaguars. I mean,
yeah.
Titans, Broncos. So I want to talk about a few of the divisional games that are going to be going on tomorrow. And
the best game of the day is going to be Detroit, Green Bay, and Baltimore, Buffalo.
Yep. So I wanted just to touch base on a couple of these division games. Tomorrow we'll talk more about all the other games on TikTok. But I want to jump into the first divisional game. 49ers at the Seahawks. I'm kind of curious to see how the Seahawks do with Sam Darnold. I'm kind of curious how San Francisco recovers from last year, all the injuries. Christian McCaffrey's already limited in practice, of course. Um, how Brock Purdy does. Like I'm very curious on how the 49ers recover from all the injuries sustained last year. There's still talks about them making the playoffs this year. It's hard for me to see. That's a tough division to play in. And the Seahawks, they revamped a little bit. You got Sam Darnold over there. They traded away DK Metcalf. It's going to be, I think, at least an interesting game. And again, divisional game. I'm honestly, for me, I'm going to take the Seahawks tomorrow.
Well, the Seahawks are plus 1.5 at home, is what the line is. So they're the underdogs here.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I honestly, I think that I like the pick. I like Seattle, but I'm going to go with San Francisco on this. I don't really care on this because
I
you know
think
who I
it's either,
picked.
to be honest, it's either team's game. I feel like
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
pretty well matched up. Are we going to get Sam Darnold of the Jets, or are we going to see what Sam Darnold did with the Vikings last year? That's
Well,
going to be my biggest question for the Seahawks this year. They paid Sam Darnold. They traded away Geno Smith. I mean, they got Sam Darnold at a relatively good deal. It's not like they had to pay him $50 million a year to play. But I am curious on how it all works out. And again, a big divisional game.
well, and obviously, I mean, even Vegas thinks it's going to be close. I mean, 1.5 is nothing for a line. So I mean, I think San Francisco here just because I think that they're going to have a little bit more of a established. Brock Purdy in that system is more established. I think they're going to just be a little more crisp at the beginning of the year. I think
Yeah.
that Seattle's going to be better later on in the year. That's just that's where I'm at with it. I think it's going to be. Let's see. I think it's going to be a decently high scoring game. I think that it'll be probably somewhere in the realm of like 24-21, 49ers.
Nice. I'm thinking more like 27-20, but not far off. Jumping into the Lions at the Packers. Now, we all know the Packers got Micah Parsons. The Lions, we all know, are a good football team. They had one of probably the best team in the league last year, to be honest with you. They just choked in the playoffs. And they had a lot of injuries. You're getting your players back. You did lose 2 coaches. What do you see coming out of Detroit this year? How do you think Detroit fares against the Packers tomorrow if Micah Parsons plays? Which I'm assuming he will, but it sounds like he might have to take an epidural or something for his back tightness. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you think the Lions are going to come out swinging like they have the last couple of years?
I think that realistically, well, let's just talk about the line here. The line is 2.5 to Green Bay. Do you think that line would be 2.5 to Green Bay without the Micah Parsons freaking trade? What do you think the line would be without it?
I think the Lions would have been favored.
Yeah,
in this game without the Micah Parsons trade.
But
here's my only thing is Detroit lost 2 good offensive linemen. And now you're going up against, you got Van Ness, you got Micah Parsons, you got a lot of players on that Packers team. They're young, they're fast. Are we going to see that Lions offensive line hold up to that? That's my biggest question for the Lions now, is that they had everything. Their last 2 years was their year to win it, and they didn't. Can they sustain the success that they've had? Because for me, it's going to be very, very hard. Now you're talking about Micah Parsons got $47 million. What are you going to pay Aiden Hutchinson next year?
Right.
I mean, now you're talking a lot of money.
Right. No, I agree 100%. And, if Goff has another decent season, then you're going to have to pay that guy got a lot of money as well at some point. So, I think that your window is closing. But I think right now, because Goff is familiar with the system and they have a lot of returning guys, I think that it's going to be business as usual early this year. I think if we see a fall off from Detroit, it's going to be later. because they don't have the same offensive coordinator, they don't have the same defensive coordinator, but they had all the practices already established, and there wasn't enough of a turnover for it to change enough that it would be, usually whenever new offensive coordinators and defense coordinators come in, sometimes they come in and there's like, tear it all down, this is only my way. But a lot of times they go off established things that you've already been doing because it's hard to install a whole brand new defense or a whole brand new offense in a preseason.
Well, absolutely.
So I think that you're going to see the Lions are going to be sustainable. I think they're going to be playing really well early on in the year, and I think if they do have a fall off, it's going to be later. I think they'll fade late.
I don't think they're going to be another 15 win team. I'm thinking more around the 12ish range. They have a tough schedule outside of Green Bay week 1. We don't know what we're going to see from Chicago yet. And I guess I'll get to see a little bit of Chicago on Monday night because that's when the Vikes play Chicago. Outside of that, they got some tough games this year. They got Baltimore week 3. They got Kansas City. They have Tampa. They got obviously the Vikings twice. They have Philly this year. They got Dallas one game. They got the Rams one game. Their schedule is a lot tougher than what it's been, especially even since last year. The Vikings schedule this year is a lot tougher than it was last year. It's hard for me to say Vikings are going to win over 10 games, and that's because we don't know what we have out of J.J. McCarthy. But we have everything else that he needs to succeed, so I predict Vikings around 10. I'm hoping for 11, but I'm predicting 10 for the Vikes. It's hard for me to go over 12 for Detroit. They have the players, they have the team to do it. I just think we're going to see some regression.
So you're going to see JJ versus freaking Williams, man, on Monday.
It'll be interesting to say the least. And then I got to stay up, and then I got to go to work in the morning. I'm going to be tired. Okay. But outside of that, I think I want to say Detroit wins this game. It's going to be a close game. I'm going to say it's 21. I think Detroit pulls it off.
Yeah, and I keep talking about how stable Detroit's going to be early on. I think it is going to be a close game. I also am going to pick Detroit this week, and I think something similar. I think it's going to be somewhere in the realm of they got too many playmakers. It's gonna score some points. It's gonna be somewhere in the realm of like 27-24, 27-21.
Outside of that, like I said, they're not a huge. We got Giants, Commanders.
We got Baltimore, Buffalo. We got to talk about that.
No, I'm getting there. I'm just trying to go off of some divisional matchups right now because there's the last couple that I'm going to talk about, but I was just going to try to throw one more in here. And Giants, Commanders. It could be an interesting game. Russell Wilson, Jackson Dart, Jameis Winston, they all did pretty well in the preseason. They have some playmakers over there, Navers and Tracy at running back position. I'm kind of curious how the Giants actually do this year. Commanders, they've improved. Their offensive line got better. They traded for Laramie Tunsil. They got Deebo Samuel. Jaden Daniels, we both called it Rookie of the Year. I'm more on the Commander side in this game, I think, myself. But I honestly think it could go either way. Now, you got to remember, we're talking Jaden Daniels. He's a second-year quarterback. We look at the second-year slump C.J. Stroud had last year. Wasn't a bad second-year slump by any means, but teams still made the playoffs.
That's a very, very common theme is to have a sophomore slump. I think here
a lot of times you got coaches got tape on you. They got more to watch. You got players can watch your tapes. It's all things that come into play in this game. 100%. I think Jaden Daniels has a good head on his shoulders. I think he's a good leader, and I think he can continue to carry that team. And I think they're the team that's probably going to take over that division within the next year or two. And I think that they have the possibility to take it away from the Eagles this year.
Well, that's to be seen. And the Eagles obviously need to get their stuff buttoned up in the secondary, or they are definitely going to be suspect in order to be taken over, something like that. Washington, like I said, they're getting the division's getting a lot better. They also have the Cowboys in there who played really well. In this game, I've got to take Washington. I think that they just have improved in every way. I think that last year, everybody's thinking, was this a flash in the pan? I think that Jaden Daniels is a natural-born leader. I think he knows how to take teams and make them successful. I think he's bought into that system. And because of all of these things, I think that they're going to be better than the Giants. I think the Giants are going to be improving, But I don't think that they're going to have enough firepower as of yet to be able to stand up against Washington. I see them finishing somewhere like third in the division.
You're probably not wrong. It's a good take, but I think we're going to see a much more competitive Giants team.
Yes.
Outside of that, jumping into the big game on Sunday night, Ravens at the Bills. This feels a lot like Ravens at the Chiefs for Week 1 last year.
Yes.
Big game. Big
Huge game.
game for both teams Week 1. This is
Yes.
a big game for both teams.
Yes.
It's
One seed implications in the division in the freaking conference, you know, deciding if you're going to be the 1 seed or 2 seed or 4 seed, So
back.
this is a big game for them. I think here this is this is a crapshoot. This is another game where the line is only 1.5 points.
I was going to say it's a small line again, yeah.
Yep, Baltimore has the edge by 1.5 in this game. It's at Buffalo. It's going to be a rainy game. That's the forecast is rain. If that's the case, I've got to take Baltimore. I think that they're a better running team than Buffalo is. And I think that if it's going to be a rainy game, not saying that Josh Allen cannot play in the freaking rain because every time I talk shit on this dude, he proves me wrong. So I think in reality, though, I think Baltimore's just got too many weapons to not pull this off. It will be a close game. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game yet again. 27-24. I'm right in that realm, man. That's where I think we're at.
I think this game has AFC Championship
aspirations. Absolutely, yeah.
I think we can see both of these teams. There's a possibility of seeing both of these teams facing each other in the AFC Championship game. I think it's time that one of these, it's either this year or next year, either Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen finally gets their Super Bowl win. And for me, I think Baltimore has the better team. Not a knock on the Bills whatsoever. I think the Bills are a good team, and I think they're going to be back in the playoffs, and they're going to be just as well as they've done the last few years. I knocked the Bills off the playoffs last year before the season even started. They proved me wrong. But I think this is going to be one of those years where we're finally going to see a different team in the Super Bowl outside of the Chiefs. And I think the Ravens have the chance to do it. I'm going to take in the Ravens as well in this game, but I think it's going to be closer. I think it's going to be around the 3-point range. I'm going, like 28, 24, somewhere in that general realm. Yeah. 4 points, not 3 points. But I still think that this game's going to be close. I think it's going to be a field goal to win it, whatever it may be. Is going to be good. This game's going to be great.
Well, I also think yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, just what you were saying. The Ravens can run the ball and they can throw it. And they have playmakers on both sides. It's going to be fun to watch. And they got Jair Alexander over there on defense as well now.
And the reality of the situation is you have King Henry running the ball down your throat, beating you down. And then you have Lamar Jackson that's able to spread the ball around and move the ball around and either A, run, tuck it and run, and he's fast, or he can chuck it down the field. And everybody that's ever questioned his throwing talent is an idiot, including myself.
Yeah. Nope, I did too. Like when he got drafted, I thought that he was going to be more of a project, and he was a little bit, but he developed as a starter. He got better,
and he's really, really good.
I'm excited. I can honestly, for me, currently Baltimore is my Super Bowl winner this year, but this is a big game for both of these teams, and I'm excited to watch it. I don't know if I'll watch the whole thing, but I'm excited. It's one of the better matchups we have all week because, like I said, I'm not really excited about the rest of the games. And my Vikes don't play until Monday night, so.
It'll be all right. I'm already disappointed in my team, but that's fine.
What was that?
I said I'm already disappointed in my team. It's fine. Everything's fine.
I'll probably be disappointed after week 1, too, so it is what it is.
Yeah, and then I'll get excited again, and then I'll be disappointed again. I'll be excited again. That's called football. Oh, yeah, we'll see how it goes. Again, I'll see you tomorrow on TikTok. We're going to go ahead and make our live picks, our fantasy picks, and things like that. Talk about how people are doing already and the games that have already happened and who we think is going to be blowing up on Sunday. before, so you can get your fantasy picks in and your freaking DraftKings picks in. And then
Yep.
outside of that, we're going to be advertising this show, obviously, on there, trying to get some more viewers over here for our podcast. And if you like what you see, man, go ahead and tell your friends. Just see us talk some shit and talk some sports. We really enjoy doing it. You know, I know we're
Share it with
only.
your friends. Tell everybody. And again, hop in the comments and talk some shit. I'll
Please
comment
do.
back. I know Corey will comment back. We'll have
Oh,
some
yeah.
fun with it.
Oh, man, I'm so waiting to comment back. Outside of that, just remember, like always, it's only an opinion. It's not a dick. Try not to take it so hard. And until next time, I'll see you later. See you, Cody.
Peace.
Peace.
Yeah, buddy.